This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, everybody. This is Greg Morton. It is Saturday, October 30th, 2021, and this is the weekend video update for Canslim Investors, presented by the Greenville Eastside IBD Meetup Group, as well as the Stockyard Meetup Group. As always, this is for educational purposes only. I'm not recommending any stocks or securities to buy or sell. All investing has substantial risk of big losses, so you always want to learn first and only then invest. And Canslim is the registered trademark of Investors Business Daily. So this weekend, we'll look at the M factor like we always do. We're in a confirmed uptrend. We had a day 8 follow-through day on the Nasdaq, which was on a Thursday 2 weeks ago. And then we had a weaker follow-through on the Dow on that Friday. We'll talk sort of about what happens next, trading plan, look at a few charts. I'm going to mention the auction that we have going on that'll end next Saturday as we do an online Canslim investing event. And then prior and upcoming monthly meetings at the Stockyard, which is where we go into much more detail on the educational topics. So the M in Canslim, most important letter, as Bill teaches us. We want to interpret, not predict, and we want to look at three things: action of leading stocks, actions of stocks we owned. After that follow-through day, went from 8% invested to about 40% invested, and now it's about 70% invested. We'll look at that in the group teaching portfolio. And then market pulse, distribution, day count, price, and volume on the indexes. So let's exit here. We're going to go look at Market Smith, as well as the coloring book and the group teaching portfolio. Oops, sorry. Let me get out. We'll go to Market Smith first. If it'll come up, we'll go to Market Smith first. Or we can go to the group teaching portfolio first. So you can see what we have here. We are up almost 21% year to date and 71% invested. So we have 6.32 positions if you adjust them for being a full dollar amount, and the last couple weeks were a lot better. Started out the month really bad in that first week. So we're not using any margin. Most of the positions are up. Dexcom was added to when it gapped up on earnings on Friday. And then MJ is an ETF, and it's the worst performing one, and it's a half position. So it's down about 6%, which would be the same as 3% on a full position. So we'll see. We're in a seasonally good time of year, sort of historically. So if things keep going, exposure will get increased. Let's see if Market Smith popped up. I don't know if it went down or did something. Give it a minute to load. We can go look at the coloring book. So here we are over the past week. So distribution days, we got another one this week on the Nasdaq, and we got one on the Dow. So we have two on the Nasdaq, one of them being that stalling day, one on the Dow, since we had the follow-through day, which was back here on the Nasdaq, and then right here on that Friday on the Dow. And we have not had any subsequent follow-through days yet. The buying and selling day count is 9 buying days, 10 days, so that's still red, but we have green all the way across all 6 indexes on the MMTS trend line. IBD is green. The market school exposure model is at level 5, which is 100%. And then the window of opportunity is also green. So most flip to green about the same time. You can see this week some of the Canslim breakouts we had. Let's see, going back 5 days. Yeah, so Tesla broke out and gapped on Monday. Indexes were hitting all-time highs. TTGT broke out. That one may have failed. NVIDIA broke out. Google, Enphase. So these are ones to look at and see how they're doing. BG, TRTN, MXL, and then on Friday we had Dexcom. So kind of the beginning of the week was sort of choppy, and then picked up and finished the week a little bit stronger, particularly with upside reversals on Friday. So that is exactly what we like to see there. Yeah, I still don't have Marcus Smith. All right, we're gonna look at the index charts. Basically, they all are looking okay. The moving average lines are stacked in the correct orders. We got all-time closing highs a couple of days this week on the Nasdaq, S&P 500, NYSE, and I think the Dow even. So those are going to look good for the most part. And I was going to also look at some charts in there. Let me just pause the recording and see if I can get it up.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, let's see if this will work. Sorry about that. So here's the NASDAQ. So you can see this week, volume was above average, even though it was sort of wedging down at the end of the week. Would have been nicer to see it wedging up, but still, last 2 days of the week, nice high range finishes, setting all-time closing highs. 10, 21, 50, and 200 are stacked in the correct order. So index-wise, that's looking okay. If we look at the S&P 500, sort of see the same thing, finished at top of its range, new all-time closing high on Friday on above average volume. So that looks constructive. Over on the NYSE, backed off a little bit this week after hitting some all-time highs early in the week, but still have all the moving average lines in the correct order. Dow, same thing, some all-time closing highs in here. Moving average lines are stacked in the correct orders. And then the small cap, Russell, has just been going sideways, range bound. Moving averages lines are at least back in the correct order. And then the S&P 600, the other small cap, looks similar to the Russell 2000. So let's go back to the slideshow. So let's see. Yep, we looked at all those. So we had the NASDAQ follow through day back at the middle of October. That was a day 8. And then on Friday, the next day, we had a 1.09% follow through day on the Dow if you're using a lower threshold. And then that Thursday, all the MMTS flipped to green. So that's just sort of the history on what happened on the follow through day. IBD went to confirmed uptrend. So we're still basically in green light condition. This week, or this past week, there was a little more hesitancy, sort of choppy action early on in the week, and then we added those distribution days on the NASDAQ, which was a stalling day, and then regular distribution days on the S&P 500 and the Dow. So still a very low count. It's nothing yet to kill a rally, so we're just keeping an eye on it. So we talked about the rally days and the follow-through day system in our last meeting. We always taught we don't want to miss a follow-through day. It's a cornerstone of the Canslim system. They're not miss events. It's better to be in quickly and get knocked out quickly if they fail than to miss one and not get that toehold in a tradable rally. When I say be in quickly, I don't mean have a ton of exposure quickly. I mean just get that toehold quickly. So some key milestones we're watching for on stocks. Will the leaders continue to lead? We'll look at some charts in just a minute. We had a narrow group of growth leaders that were extended but leading. Can we find strong Canslim stocks setting up and breaking out a full and proper early stage basis, which can include viable gap ups, breaking out of basis because we're in earnings season. The best merchandise comes out the earliest after the follow through day. Ideally, it's a 4 to 6 week window, maybe up to 8 to 10 weeks when we're looking for the best of the best things coming out. Want to see how the market handles EPS season. So far it did okay. We have another super heavy week coming up next week. And then we have the Fed meeting also coming next week. Sorry, I put 2 weeks in there. It's actually this Tuesday and Wednesday. So trick or treat at Jerome Powell's house. So currently on the M, still a green traffic light. Go button is still lit up, but it's just general acceleration if new positions are working and making progress, and B, there are proper Canslim stocks setting up in full and proper basis and breaking out. So you got to have merchandise on the shelf. So it's okay to increase exposure as those initial positions work and look for add-on buy opportunities like Dexcom on Friday. Don't plunge, plungers die. And also, again, the Fed meeting this week, those days, there's a couple days that always seem very difficult to trade. The day before a Fed meeting, the day of a Fed meeting, and then options expiration days. And so unless the market's really just cranking along and has a good headwinds, it seems like those are difficult, volatile, choppy days. So just keep an eye on that. All right, weeks ahead, again, another monster mash week of earnings coming. EPS season's hot and heavy. Delta COVID and Delta COVID Plus, what's going to happen there? China government, just a lot of volatility and risk there. You got the Evergrande thing. Are they going to default, collapse? Fed meeting coming up this week. Got all the debate in Washington on the infrastructure bill, government shutdown, debt ceilings come up again on December 3rd. Still got supply chain issues, and we're going to hear about supply chain issues in the conference calls for the companies that are hit for that. And then you have certain companies like software companies that may not even be subject to that risk at all. So flip back to Market Smith. I just put some stocks in a list to kind of look at. Let's go to weekly charts. So here's Denbury. So this one actually set up the stage 2 consolidation and broke out. This has triple digit earnings and sales. So that one sort of in the oil patch continues to do well. Solar Edge, some of the solar stocks are looking constructive. So this one's set up, I said deep base, 47%, but you also can look at TAN and Enphase. I don't know if I have Enphase in the list. This is a crypto mining stock, so still lower price down there around $12, but it sort of had a nice run, and it's trading, it's liquid, trades $168 million per day. So that one's extended right now, could be worth keeping an eye on. Here's TAN, so we see that's come back above all the moving average lines with volume coming in. So that's one thing to consider as a possible way to play the solar sector. Here's Dexcom. If we go to the daily chart, just a big breakout on earnings on 157% volume. You can see sort of a skyscraper volume bar there. RS lines following price to new high on the daily chart, and also on the weekly chart. Not quite as high as it was over here. Market Smith must pick it up within a shorter time period to give it the blue dot. So we'll talk about this one at our next meeting, and I'll walk through some of the things about it and the details on why I think this one has the potential possibly to be a true market leader, which is one that would be held longer if that was the case, and if it didn't trigger any of those get into serious trouble sell rules. Here's coin. So the crypto miners, you had that ETF come out. So like Jim Ropel mentioned in the recent interview that Richard Moglen did, may not be the best time to enter these. It may be a little more of a sell the news situation. And then a couple IPOs. Here's Dutch Brothers, kind of a drive-in Starbucks thing, looking very good. Set up an IPO base, broke out, up 24% from the pivot. Of course, this extended. Olaplex, this one, we go to a daily chart, it broke out and failed, so that's a concern, but maybe it's setting up a second IPO base, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5 days into that, and it did sort of finished the week nicely, but volume could have been a little bit stronger. Portillo's, so this one just rocketed up from IPO down here at 20, more than doubled in basically the first 2 days. Finally ran into some sellers, and so maybe it's going to form an IPO base. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 days in, so still early, but that one has very good Canslim sales and 500% earnings growth, so very strong there. Then a couple of the leaders to keep an eye on. If these do well, we kind of think the market could continue to do well. So there's Tesla as well as Microsoft. You can see it's just been on a nice steady uptrend there also. So other things coming up, we're running a Molly's World Canslim charity auction. You can go to the auction page. It's on biddingowl.com. You search for Molly's auction. So this is in memory of Andrew Smith, who is Amy Smith from IBD's son. Andrew passed away 3 years ago when he was 28 from Lyme disease. That was in 2019. So in conjunction with AJ's annual event, we're doing this auction. The information on the annual event is here. So this is going to be next Saturday, Zoom meeting, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific. So Amy's going to head it up, and then we have several speakers lined up. Amy's going to wrap it up, and we'll probably conclude the auction during that meeting. So if you want to register for the meeting, it's $15. All the registration fee goes to benefit Lyme disease research. You can donate more if you want when you sign up. So the instructions for signing up and receiving the Zoom link are on the first page of the auction site. And then you can look at the auctions items that are currently up for bid. These are donations that these are just top teachers in the Canslim world. So Mark Minervini's on board. This is his 5-day annual course, which is done live, has David Ryan in it. It will be the weekend, 1 week from the auction. And then you've got Jim Ropel, his premium service, where you hear from him every week and can ask live questions in the online meeting with him. Got Matt Caruso, Pat Walker, mission winner. So you can click on these and read about all of them. Ala Raquel, the Trader Line guys, stock chart art, Ticker Monkey, Marty Chargin, IPO Edge, which is a service I use. Market Smith and IBD have joined us. Market Subscription Leaderboard, IBD Live, Investors Business Daily. Have a really special golf outing there that we just added today. This is one of the home study course chart school books with the audio presentations. You cannot get these anymore. They're out of print. It's a 525-page book. The Life Cycle Trade with a 1-hour coaching session from Eric Krull, and that'll be an autographed copy of that book by all 4. We have Death Diaries. This is a set of both that has 2 in it. And then if you go to page 2, Mike Webster's put in some really cool old Canslim stuff. This is a personal trading journal, quote journal of Bill O'Neill's. This is Mike's personal copy of the 2004 desk diary, and you can see there's some tremendous interest in bids currently on these. This is Amy Smith's copy of the desk diary. These I've never even seen before, are mouse pads that Mike Webster donated that have Bill's marked up charts on them, the eBay chart and the Brunswick chart. So these were promotional items that they had put out to institutional clients, so you couldn't even buy these. And then we have a autographed book in here also. So check that out, participate, do come to our meeting next week. I'm going to talk on kind of do an overview of IPOs during that. So we do encourage people to sign up for that. And then finally, to wrap it up quickly, go back to the VIG version. Our prior monthly meetings at the Stockyard. So in October, covered 2 educational topics, finished the complete weekend review for the Canslim Investor, talked about how you compare one Canslim stock versus another Canslim stock, how do you determine the best of the best. So I spent a decent amount of time walking through that. And then we also walked through the rally day, follow through day system, A to Z, what you do. Are there rules where you can get in after a rally day, but before a follow through day to cheat in a little bit early? So Steve Sweat showed up and talked to us about that. And we talked about subsequent signs of strength after a follow through day, which are, some of those aren't covered in Bill's book, but were covered in webinars or advanced classes. So here's a list of the prior classes. I can email this to you if people are interested in ordering those. Most of these, except the special one on IPOs, are just $10, the same as they were to attend the meeting. If you do not have a written set of sell rules, you need to order those from January, February, and March. And then here's the topics we covered in August and September. I need to get the October one in there, but I just told you what was in it. So our next meeting, which is Tuesday, November 16th, 2021. You can sign up for that now at the Stockyard Meetup site. We're going to look at some of the EPS season buyable gap ups that we had, see if they worked, didn't work. We'll go into where we are with the rally day, follow through day status in a little more detail. We'll do some post analysis on some of this year's trades. We'll do recent IPO discussion, and I'll probably add in another sort of mini educational topic in there. So the meetup sites for the Greenville IBD or Greenville Eastside IBD meetup site, you can sign up for that. There's a ton of resources on there, including links to the group teaching portfolio and the coloring book. And then the Stockyard Meetup site for the online monthly meetings. You can email me at that address if you want to order prior meetings, and I'll send you the list and how you order them and pay with PayPal. You can follow me on Twitter, and that's where we're putting a lot of the auction stuff on there. And then you also can go to my YouTube page, like and subscribe if you go there, and that's where you're watching this weekend video, and there's a lot of other videos on there. So that's it. Hope y'all have a great weekend routine. Please do check out the auction. That is for a great cause. All the money is going to charity except the auction commission charged by the auction site that we're using, which is 5% of the highest bids. But everything else, the meeting fees, the bid amounts, the whole works, is going to support research for Lyme disease. So that's a cool project, and there's really, everybody has just enthusiastically jumped on board. So it's really cool to see that in the Canslim community. So that's it. Y'all have a great weekend routine, and hopefully we'll see you at the meeting next Saturday, which was listed and will be on Zoom. So see you later.